The idea of the film in the beginning was almost science fiction. It started from me wondering about the future of families and if they were going to be the same, in the future as we know them, or maybe at some point they would become extinct for some reason. And thinking about that, I thought that there would definitely be the people that really needed to keep the families as they know them. They would feel obliged to protect what they knew, the whole notion of family as they knew it. I thought that they would go to extremes to do that. So I came up with this idea of these parents raising their children away from the rest of the world without any other influence.
Fly me to the moon.
Ο μπαμπάς μας αγαπάει.
Swing 'em a lost star.
Η μαμά μας αγαπάει.
Let me see what spring.
Εμείς τους αγαπάμε. Ναι, τους αγαπάμε. Αγαπάω τα αδέρφια μου.
In other words,
Γιατί μ' αγαπούν κι αυτά. Και η άνοιξη γεμίζει.
There's not much of me in the film in the sense of biography. I watched films when I was young and pretty, standard films like the ones maybe that are referenced in the film, like Rocky and Jaws and Flashdance and Footloose and all these kind of films. And the first films I remember were Bud Spencer, Terence Hill movies that I had a lot of fun with, and I used to go to the cinema to watch that, and spaghetti westerns, Sergio Leone westerns, and Bruce Lee karate films and stuff like that. So it started from that kind of cinema. I wrote the script with Efthymis Filippou, who is a friend of mine. It was his first script. He'd never written a script before. So I had this idea and I discussed it with him. He was interested. So we started writing scenes, really, not an entire story from beginning to end. I just shared the idea with him, and then he would write some scenes to see if it was something interesting that we can do with this idea, and we would dismiss some of them and we would keep some others, and this went on for a while, and after a while we said, yes, okay, this could be an interesting thing. So we started putting it together, and it lasted like 2 years because we had to work as well, because this is not our proper way of making a living. So we were writing once a week, let's say, for 2 years. But after these 2 years, the production started and finished really soon, like in 2 months. We prepared the film, did rehearsals, and then we shot for 30 days, and then it was over. The casting comes from very different backgrounds. Some of them I knew, some of them I had worked before. Christos Passalis, who is the older brother in the film, I had worked with him in theater before. Angeliki Papoulia, who is the older sister, I knew her. I had seen her in theater, and I knew her, and I wanted to work with her. And they have a company together with Christos, and they do devised theater, so I knew them quite well. I knew the younger sister, who is not an actress, she's a singer, from her band, and she had this band with another fellow director of mine, a Greek director, Alexandros Voulouris, who is also in the film. He's the dog instructor. So I knew these people, and then the father is a classically trained actor known in theater. I had never worked with him, but I knew his work. And the mother has appeared in many Nikos Nikolaidis films, who is a Greek director, considered cult, let's say. Christina, who is the security guard, I had worked with her in theater before, and the rest were basically friends, non-actors that came in and did the other parts.
Εγώ προτείνω να παίξουμε ένα παιχνίδι αντοχής.
The process we followed with the actors was mainly just playing games for a month and a half.
Δηλαδή, να ανοίξουμε τις βρύσες στο καυτό νερό, να βάλουμε το δείκτη και όποιος αντέξει πιο πολύ, κερδίζει.
The main thing I tried to do with them, instead of trying to explain the parts and roles and psychological background or any other kind of background, was to just make them adopt a behavior that was suitable for the film. And we tried to achieve that by really being in rehearsals and coming up with games the whole time, and they would play these games like little children, and there would be very stupid games that they would come up with.
1, 2, 3.
They were playing them for hours until they were bored to death, and then they would have to think of something else. So it really made them stop thinking about the situation and be really free in this kind of environment and forget everything else, and be preoccupied with very stupid little things that were around them and nothing else. Also, we did a lot of improvisations while having the rehearsals, and some of the scenes, although there was a full complete script, some of the scenes sprang out of that. And there are a couple of scenes in the film that are sort improvised, but it doesn't mean that everyone was there and wasn't know what he was doing. They were improvised, but there was a code that everyone knew since we had all these rehearsals, and they would improvise according to this code. So it just gave this feeling of spontaneity and uncontrolled thing, but there was something behind it that really was very specific. I tried for the film to make sense in the end, but I always liked this to happen gradually. I mean, I find it interesting even when I'm watching films to not be explain everything from the beginning, or maybe to not be explain everything in the end as well. I like to do some of the work.
Ένα αεροπλάνο. Έπεσε στον κήπο.
So I just think it's necessary to have all the essential elements so the viewer can really come in and be engaged with the film, and he can draw his own conclusions about things, and he has all these elements of this story, and he can make up the rest in his mind, and I find that much more interesting and much more creative for the viewer as well. The cat is alright. I mean, the cat is alive. The first cat in the wide shot where Christos is approaching her with the scissors, she's just staying, she's there without moving while he's approaching, and everyone was excited while we were shooting the shot. It was one take and he got really close to her, and then he jumped on the cat, and everyone was excited, yeah, and then we went closer to the cat and we realized that she was blind, and that's why she didn't move. It's a very plain effect to do, but I guess it looks real, and many people are worried about the cat more than other things in the film that might be more worrying to me. I would never want to have, you know, people walk out of my films and saying, "Oh, okay, it was okay." I always think that it's important for a film to have strong reactions, even if it is positive or negative.
Εύχομαι όταν κάνεις παιδιά να πάρουν τα λάθος ερεθίσματα και να δημιουργήσουν το λάθος χαρακτήρα. Πραγματικά σου το εύχομαι.
I'm not discouraged by negative reactions or criticism or whatever. There are people that are you know, sometimes appalled or disturbed by a film because they can't really deal with these issues. And on the other hand, there's all these other people that are, you know, really open when they're watching a film, and you know, they can see every aspect of it and also be entertained, because I think the film is also very humorous in many ways, and through that they can really go deeper into things, and after they've been amused or after they've laughed and maybe a minute later when they're shocked from a violent scene, they can go back and realize that what they're laughing about is really serious, and you know, they're wondering if they should actually be laughing about something like that. And to me, that's even more important than making a film which is just serious, which has the risk of becoming, you know, pretentious in a way and didactic.
Οι καινούριες λέξεις της ημέρας είναι οι εξής. Θάλασσα. Αυτοκινητόδρομος. Εκδρομή. Καραμπίνα.
I'm not trying to be didactic about anything, I'm just trying to expose all these issues that concern me, and then I'd like for people that are interested and have similar concerns or other concerns to, you know, to just come in there and, you know, start thinking about these things and be in contact with the film in such a way, and not just, you know, being told, okay, this is this and this is that, and now go home.